Corla. Taoiseach, I welcome that a deal to release hostages has been reached between Israel and Hamas. I know everyone in this House is hopeful that Emily Hand will be amongst the first hostages released. My thoughts remain with Emily Hand's family at this extremely difficult time. I also welcome the release of 150 Palestinian women and children who have been detained in Israeli prisons. Taking hostages is a war crime, but snatching children and babies from their families and using them as hostages is especially despicable. All hostages should be released immediately. In relation to the other aspects of the deal, Israel shouldn't be congratulated for doing the bare minimum. Ensuring 2.3 million people in Gaza have water to drink and food to eat isn't something that is praiseworthy. Starving and dehydrating millions of people is a war crime. Let's not pretend otherwise. The refusal to allow medical supplies and fuel into the Gaza Strip, which led to the deaths of countless patients, including premature babies, was another war crime. Israel has now said it will stop the bombing for just 4 days before it resumes the carnage. Taoiseach, we can't allow this slaughter to continue. More than 14,000 people in Gaza, including nearly 6,000 children, have already been murdered. Hospitals have been systematically targeted by Israel. A few hospitals in the south and one in the north of Gaza are just about functional, but according to the World Health Organization, none are equipped to treat critical trauma cases or perform surgery. Taoiseach, before October 7th, there were 36 hospitals in Gaza. Just over 6 weeks later, the healthcare system has been deliberately obliterated. When medical supplies flow into Gaza, where will the patients be treated? Given so many doctors and healthcare staff, at least 220 at the last count have been killed, who will treat patients? On Monday, the Secretary-General of the UN, Antonio Guterres, issued a stark warning to the world. He said, "We are witnessing a killing of civilians that is unparalleled and unprecedented in any conflict since I've been Secretary-General." Taoiseach, there must be consequences if Israel is determined to continue this barbarism. I've repeatedly raised with you the issue of economic sanctions at EU level. You told me last week you get legal advice on whether the human rights clause of the EU-Israel trade agreement has been breached. Have you done that? And will you give a commitment to pursue the suspension of the trade deal at EU level? Taoiseach, next Wednesday, November 29th, is International Day of Solidarity with Palestinian people. It would send a strong message of support and solidarity to Palestinian people if the Irish government were to recognise the Palestinian state on that day. Spain's Prime Minister, Pedro Sanchez, who has just been re-elected, has said it's one of his priorities. This is something he intends to pursue at EU level. Will you support those efforts also?
Thanks very much, Deputy. And just want to join the House in welcoming the news that there will be a 4-day ceasefire in Gaza, and this will be observed by all sides, Israel, Hamas and the other armed groups in the territory. And I want to recognise the role of the US government and the Qatari government in mediating this welcome ceasefire. The ceasefire will facilitate the release of 50 hostages being held by Palestinians, including, we hope, Emily Hand, and will also facilitate the release of 150 Palestinian prisoners held by Israel, in some cases teenage boys imprisoned for doing little more than throwing stones at armed soldiers. In relation to the 4-day ceasefire, that will allow humanitarian aid to get into Gaza, food, fuel, medicines, water, all of the basic needs for human life. And Ireland individually and also as part of the UN and the EU will do anything we can to make sure that that happens and happens well. And it is our view that the ceasefire should not just last for 4 days, that it should be extended to allow space for there to be a peace initiative which can bring a permanent end to violence in the region, resulting in a two-state solution, Israel and Palestine, secure and viable states living side by side. In relation to the human rights clause in the EU agreement with Israel, I have sought advice on that, hasn't yet come back. These things can take time sometimes, particularly if it involves complex legal questions, but I haven't got that advice back yet. And in terms of recognition, Ireland has always recognised Palestine de facto. We recognise their passports. We describe their head of government as Prime Minister, that we describe Mahmoud Abbas as President of Palestine, not President of the Palestinian Authority. We don't recognise Palestine de jure because we've taken the view that this should happen when it's actually established and functioning as a state, as part of a two-state solution. I appreciate other countries take a different approach, but our approach has always been to recognise the passports, to recognise the President, the Prime Minister, the Government of Palestine, but to recognise the state formally de jure at a point in time when it's established, exists and is functioning in the way a normal state would.
Taoiseach, we must have a ceasefire, not a temporary pause, and you seem to echo that sentiment too, but getting a ceasefire will require pressure on Israel, and we have the ability to apply pressure in that way. When it comes to sanctions at EU level, you said you don't want to be too far out in front because people won't follow you. But as it stands, you're being outflanked now by countries like Spain and Belgium, so that excuse is kind of, I think, ringing hollow, and you're also failing to live up to your own commitments. The Programme for Government commits to recognising the State of Palestine to protect the integrity of the Palestinian territory. So now, given Israel is currently decimating Gaza in its entirety, it's time for Ireland to formally recognise the State of Palestine. I think you need to change that approach. We should join other EU countries who have already done so to send a message that the Palestinian territory is undeniable and must be protected. If not now, when? Taoiseach, will you show leadership? Will you change your approach on this at EU level and live up to your own commitment in your own programme for government?
Thanks, Deputy. Sadly, the Israeli government doesn't listen to us. I'm not sure the Israeli government listens to anyone anymore. They used to listen to the Americans. I'm not even sure that's the case anymore. They are, as President Biden said, at risk of being blinded by rage. And it is a sad reality that I'm not actually sure that any action or statement by us or the European Union or the US will change the current course of action that they're on. That doesn't necessarily mean, Deputy, that we don't do the right thing. And we have increased our humanitarian aid to Gaza and to Palestine. We have provided additional funding to the International Criminal Court so they can fund the investigation into war crimes that may have been committed in the Palestinian territories, and will continue to press at UN level and EU level. As you know, when it comes to sanctions, I strongly take the view that sanctions, if done, should be done on a multilateral basis. The whole point of sanctions is that they're supposed to do more harm to the country being sanctioned than the country imposing them, and that should only be done, in my view, on a multilateral basis, acting in consort with other countries.